It's the semi-final of the 2026 World Cup in Atlanta. Two nations with a deep footballing history, competing for a spot in the final. For England, this matchup carries decades of heavy baggage, the memories of controversial tournament exits, most notably the loss inflicted by Diego Maradona in 1986, and the penalty shootout defeat in 1998, still loom large. By the 55th minute of this game, it looked like that generational curse was finally going to be broken. Anthony Gordon found the back of the net, putting the English squad 1-0 up. They were exactly 35 minutes away from a World Cup title. They had the lead, a wealth of attacking talent on the pitch, and complete momentum against an aging Argentine roster. It was the ideal scenario to press their advantage and kill off the match. But instead of pushing forward, England manager Thomas Tuchel made a decision rooted in self-preservation. He began pulling his attacking threats off the field, replacing them with defensive specialists. The strategy was clear. Repeat the exact playbook they used to scrape by Mexico and just try to hold on. Looking at the tactical layout, you can see the immediate result of these substitutions. The English formation collapses deep into their own defensive third, creating a dense cluster of 7 or 8 players directly in front of their own 18-yard box. This shell effectively neutralized their own offense. Captain Harry Kane was left stranded at the top of the pitch, isolated with zero service for the rest of the game. By retreating entirely, England invited relentless territorial pressure from the defending world champions. The question became whether any team could survive 35 minutes of a pure siege. Retreating that far back introduced a severe structural flaw. By dropping all the way to the 18-yard line, England completely surrendered control of the midfield. And that happens to be the worst possible strategy you can employ against a 39-year-old Lionel Messi. It eliminated his remaining physical disadvantage. He no longer needed to sprint or outrun younger defenders. If we look at the spatial breakdown, a massive empty zone opens up directly in front of the English defense. Messi simply stepped into this pocket of space, stood his ground, and began orchestrating wave after wave of attacks without any physical pressure. Absorbing that much concentrated pressure takes a massive physical toll. The English defenders were forced to constantly scramble, leading to severe exhaustion and cramping. Eventually, the fatigue forced a mental error. Goalkeeper Jordan Pickford needlessly swatted a ball out of bounds for an Argentine corner kick, rather than letting it safely sail out for a goal kick. Against a squad with Argentina's tenacity, freely handing over both attacking territory and cheap set pieces guarantees that a defense will eventually break. The dam finally broke in the 85th minute, when England's highly compressed shape made a critical spatial error. Watch this tactical breakdown of the penalty box. An English defender is drawn out of position toward the ball. This completely exposes the zone at the top of the arc. Messi spots this microscopic gap instantly, threading a pass straight into the vacated space. Enzo Fernandez is waiting right there to sweep the ball into the net, punishing the lapse and tying the game at 1. By the time the clock ticked into stoppage time, the English squad was reeling. Their defensive structure was completely shattered, and Argentina sensed blood. In the 92nd minute, Messi delivered a final masterstroke. Using his weaker right foot, he sent an inch-perfect cross directly between two English defenders, allowing Lautaro Martinez to head home the game winner. 35 minutes of desperate, exhausting English defending were completely dismantled by just 6 minutes of Argentine precision. At the final whistle, Messi dropped to his knees in celebration, while the English players collapsed in disbelief. Argentina secured their ticket to the World Cup final. This defensive collapse stands in sharp contrast to how the Spanish national team handled their own semifinal lead against France just a day prior. Instead of cowering in their own box, Spain protected their advantage by aggressively keeping possession. They maintained control of the ball, forced the opposition to chase the game, and actively pushed for a second goal. England, meanwhile, adds 2026 to a growing list of squandered late tournament leads, joining their semi-final exit against Croatia in 2018 and the Euro final against Italy in 2021. When a team willfully abandons its attacking threat to play not to lose, it doesn't protect a lead. It simply builds the perfect stage for a legend to break your heart.